We're going to jump into section 3 here about using Git and our version control with Git course. So what are you going to learn in this particular course? Well, we're going to discuss 5 different topics. We're going to start out with the basic Git workflow, where I'll actually go in and review a Git workflow, a very basic one for you to kind of understand how the Git workflow works, how the stuff flows in Git. And then we're going to talk about local and remote repositories or repos. We'll truncate that and call them repos going forward. Again, we're going to talk about the differences between a local repo and a remote repo. And we're going to create them and show you how we do that. Then we're going to go into undoing work. And undoing work is various stages of the process. So we have a few different stages, 3 stages that we've had talked about earlier in previous videos. And the 3 stages of Git, any point in time there, you may want to, undo the work from that particular stage for whatever reason. And we're going to show you how you can go about and undo your work from the particular stage. Then we're going to move on to understanding the git ignore. And we're going to walk through that and get you understanding about what a .git ignore does and how can we utilize it as we're doing our check-ins and checkouts or commits into Git. And then lastly, we're going to talk about creating Git tags. And Git tags will allow us to then tag our commits, and then later on we can actually pull our tags out and do a release on it from that tag, for example. But we're literally just tagging a block of code, that group of code that we're going to then go back and use at some point in time. So whether it's for a release or for a particular build or whatever, we can go back and grab that tag. So we're going to talk about using and creating Git tags. In this video, we're going to talk about using a basic Git workflow to manage the work. So what are you going to learn in this particular video? Well, we're going to focus on nothing but guiding principles. And there's a list of them that I have. And these guiding principles are going to be how we're going to work with Git in a basic workflow. And I'm going to show you also how to do it. So we're going to talk to it. And then I'm going to show you through the demo how you can actually accomplish this. So again, let's just dive in and look at guiding principles, and we'll talk to them, and then we'll actually demo them. So some of the guiding principles that we work with are, first off, and this is a flow of how things are going to work. Start by pulling down the latest changes from your master. So get the freshest code you can get. Pull it down to start working with it. Once you have it down, branch it off to a feature branch. Again, this is a very typical workflow, or like it says here, a big bug fix or a feature branch or a hot fix. Branch it off and don't work in master. Then you work on that particular feature. So now you have your feature branch, you're in there in isolation, working on your feature, you're ready to go. And you want to make sure that you're keeping your feature branch up to date. So let's say it takes you a couple days to get your feature done. You want to make sure you're doing pulls into your feature branch to make sure that the code is all the same, always updated. So that way then we don't have to worry about changes that have gone on in the system. We'll have merged those changes that are in the system into our code as we're going along. We'll make it much easier later when we go to do a commit. And then when we're ready, we're going to create what they call a pull request. And a pull request allows us to code reviews in Git. Basically, what we're doing a pull request to tell our colleagues that, hey, we need somebody to come and look at this code for us. We want to make sure that, everything looks right, appears right, working right. And if they have any comments or suggestions or anything like that, they can actually state them at that point. And then perform a final rebase cleanup after the pull request. So the pull request is complete. Pushed it into master at this point, and you're ready to go. And so what we do is we perform a final rebase cleanup to clean everything up, and then we're ready to go with the next workflow that we're going to work into. And again, when development is complete, record an explicit merge. So again, this is where we'll merge back into master, but again, an explicit merge, not making sure that we're very cognizant of what we're doing when we're merging back into master. Because a lot of times folks will just work and merge things into a master and not remember that master is really your gold code. That's your standard by which everything should be working. So when you release software, you're releasing from master, and you want to make sure that that's solid. And so by doing explicit merges, you'll understand that I know exactly what's going into my particular master, and I want to be very cognizant of it. So those are the guiding principles. There's 7 of them that I use, and there could be more. Everybody has their own way of working with it, but these are the basics by which we can then create a workflow to work with Git. So with that, I'd like to go over into the Git environment, and I think I'm going to show it in a couple ways. I'm going to show it to you using a Visual Studio client, and I'm going to show it to you using Git Bash. So for those folks that like the command line, we can see how we do it there. And those folks that like the UI, we can show you how things could happen in a client application, in this case, a Visual Studio. So join us as we do the demo.